Well, the case of a 37-year-old Namibian national who was arrested for being in possession of 12 9mm pistols has been postponed at the Cape Town Regional Court. Urbanus Shwambwaku is one of the men allegedly implicated by Arthur Fraser in the robbery at President Cyril Ramaphosa's Phala Phala Farm. Newzroom Afrika's Athi Mtongana is live for us in Cape Town. Athi, good evening. Firstly, when we look at court proceedings today, has there been a direct link between this particular suspect and the robbery that took place at the President's farm?
Rian Hackworth, who's representing the 37-year-old Namibian national, as you've mentioned, Urbanus Shwambwaku, who was arrested on the 18th of October in 2020 for being in the unlawful possession of 12 9mm pistols in table view. When he brought his statements before the court, he mentioned the issue of hawks having to approach him and his client on different occasions, respectively, asking them about the involvement of this particular suspect, the 37-year-old Namibian national, in the Phala Phala Farm robbery. And he claims, as the legal rep for Shwambwaku, that the Hawks are saying that they are not questioning him on the basis of him being a suspect of one of the people who allegedly who stole money from President Cyril Ramaphosa's farm, but they're questioning him on the basis of him being a witness. Now, he raised concerns about the Hawks questioning his client about the Phala Phala Farm robbery, given the fact that his arrest was for the unlawful possession of those firearms. And so the state, on the other hand, argued that everything that he brought before the magistrate today was irrelevant to the case. But he proceeded and continued to stress before Magistrate Borth that his client is not safe, given the fact that the Hawks are trying to get his client out of his cell to question him and get him to amend the statement and amend the statements that was made by Arthur Fraser by adding facts to it. Those are some of the claims that he put before the magistrate on record in court today, Kathy.
Whatever the utterances were, or whatever you want to call them, that were made in court, they had nothing to do with the case. In fact, the magistrate went further and asked him. In fact, we objected and asked for a relevance of what they were saying that they were doing in court, which was totally irrelevant. What they were doing in court, it was totally irrelevant. It had nothing to do with this case. Whatever happened in Phala Phala or wherever, it had nothing to do with this case. And even the claims that he was making, that he was approached by the NPA for a plea and sentencing agreement, they are not true. We never approached him. If you were here at the last appearance, he told the court, it's on record in court, he told the court that the defense would like to enter into a plea and sentencing agreement with the state. We never approached him. In fact, when we had a meeting with him before the start of today, he could not provide the name of the representative from the NPA who approached him.
All right. And of course, Athi, while that particular case was happening, we had some progress in Parliament, at least about what will happen next and as far as the processes to hold the President accountable. Very quickly, run us through those.
Yes, Kathy, the spokesperson of Parliament, Moloto Mothapo, confirming that most political parties have indeed met the deadline of today to submit their preferred candidates that will serve in the independent panel that will obviously work around the motion that has been tabled by the ATM against the President, particularly pertaining to issues on Phala Phala. He said there were only 3 political parties that had not submitted, but just after 3 p.m. they had then received 2 additional submissions, and they wait for the last political parties to then make their submissions. We spoke to the UDM, as you've heard, Ngabayom Zingwangwa. We spoke to the DA. We spoke to the Good Party, many of them saying that it is important that they bring forward names of credible individuals, people who are well versed when it comes to the laws of this country, the Constitution, because the allegations that have been leveled against the first citizen are really serious allegations, and so they need people who will be sober-minded when they're dealing with this particular case. So this particular independent panel will then work towards a 30-day period where they then make a recommendation to the National Assembly. But however, Kathy, we need to note that some of these individuals that have been earmarked by political parties, some have been consulted by the political parties, some will then be consulted by Parliament to find out if they would be interested in serving in that independent panel. And also to include, Kathy, here is that the particular independent panel, if they need an extension of more than 30 days to assess this situation pertaining to the president, they would then make that request, because the rules do provide for an extension if they need to.
All right, Athi Mtongana, we'll leave it there for tonight. That's the latest on Phala Phala coming out of Cape Town. Well,